What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fi here. Wanted to remind everybody that we are at the end of the month going to be joining Pay Dirt full time. We're already sort of crossing over, been getting more into the Pay Dirt stuff as we go. I'm still obviously no expert because it takes a little time to master these things. We saw it happen when I was trying to work with the SaberSim. But we're going to be talking about it through, from just using Pay Dirt's numbers right here. Let me just make sure I'm refreshed so I've got the range of outcomes here correct. I'm not going to get into all the details. I'm going to wait till we have James on for different shows to talk about all this stuff. And there's plenty of videos out there on the site already. We'll have more, but I'm still, as I said, familiarizing myself with some of the tools. So go ahead, please give us a like, subscribe, all that stuff. And just a reminder, we're going to be with Pay Dirt going forward, Sheets and then myself, Brandon Cruz. So I wanted to remind you guys about that. Been some fun golf lately. It doesn't really seem to matter how you're doing until the last 3 holes these days. It's not like there's been a lot of change at the leadership and stuff. And I was doing great through 3 days the last couple weeks. Did not have a good Sunday, which ended up killing this last week. I had an okay one the week before, so I did well. But we're going to try and get back on track. This is my hometown event. I actually would be going to this event if I didn't have. I have my girlfriend's birthday. I have my son's birthday. I've got some family health appointments I've got to take my family to. So not going to be able to go this year to the Genesis, but otherwise I would have been there. So anyway, we're gonna talk through some of this stuff. All right. I'm going to go through, we're going to go by ranges as we always do on our shows. Sheets is, getting back tonight, so we won't have him available yet. But I really am enjoying some of these new tools, and I'm still trying to become an expert with them. I think that they're really, really cool. And again, James, when he comes on, does a better job of explaining it than I do. So we'll do more and more shows together, and we'll probably regularly, weekly have me, Sheets, and James do these golf things if we can get James's time. Certainly Sheets and I. All right, let's talk about this. We're going to see the ownership. I think this is probably a little bit high on Scotty. My guess is he comes in a little lower owned. The issue I'm having this week with builds, and you're going to run into this a lot with the Scotty situation. Like, I actually like the 6K range this week. So I don't have a thing in avoiding him. Now, if you'd say one place that he hasn't played particularly well, you would say here, but Scotty's obviously in great form. Even with the slow starts the last couple of weeks, has been basically on the winning lineups in most of the tournaments you look at. So kind of struggling with what to do with him. As of right now, I only have 12% Scotty. Now, honestly, I did some one and done lineups, and I think Scotty's actually an interesting one and done play. It is $4 million for first. He's going to be low owned because people are waiting to use him at the end. So it's kind of an interesting contrarian way to go. Maybe play him in one and done, fade him a little bit more in DFS this week. As of right now, I'm still not entirely sure what I'm going to end up doing. But for the moment, I am definitely planning on being heaviest of the 10K plus range on Tommy Fleetwood. That part actually I'm going to stick to. Fleetwood will be my highest owned player probably on the entire slate. I love Fleetwood this week. He looked great. His first PGA event of the year last week, tied with Scotty for fourth. And I love Fleetwood in this situation. I also love Fleetwood for one and done. I think people are going to save him a little bit too. I think this is a place he can really win. We know the history with Fleetwood has been sometimes closing things out on the PGA Tour. He's always done it a million times on the DP World Tour. Really like Fleetwood this week. And I don't think the winner necessarily has to come from the 10K range. We got an awesome 9K range down here, which leads to, okay, do I want 2 of these guys? You potentially could play even 3 of the, 9-ish K plus and pay down. That's another route that you could go with your builds. But for me, I have it Fleetwood 1. I'll be right sort of near the field on Rory. But Fleetwood, I'm about double the field at 34%. And Scotty right now significantly underweight on DK. I think on FanDuel, there's a chance I could just end up locking him in because it's kind of easier to get what I want over there. A reminder, there is a cut, but anybody within 10 strokes is going to make it. And there's a chance everybody makes it. Top 50 and 10 strokes, that's what it is. But we've, we're only dealing with 80 guys here. So most of these guys should be pretty clean. All right. And it's only I think there's only 3 signature events. Yeah, 3 signature events this year that have a cut line. So just something worth keeping in mind. Anybody with any questions or thoughts, feel free to weigh in. We love to, go back and forth with you guys when you have anything to say. But I really like the Fleetwood play this week. And those of you guys who have been around and watched my shows enough, I've loved Fleetwood, but I have to say I've been right about it. I mean, we were talking about this a few years ago when he was 7K, and I said he was going to be a top 5 player soon, and I think he's crossed that line and he is in the top 5. I would have him actually potentially as the number 2 player in the world if you look at everything. Maybe you put him 3 behind Rory because I guess it just makes sense. But yeah, both he and Rory I like quite a bit. All right, we're moving over to the 9K range, and again, like I said, a lot to choose from. I'm pretty spread out in this range with the exception of Patrick Cantlay, local guy, going to be heavy on Cantlay this week, and not a guy I usually play a ton of. Has played this tournament extremely well. Obviously knows the course well. Feels very safe-ish, but he's the guy I've got the most in this range as of right now. So I've got it Cantlay. The guys I've got next are Hideki and Matsuya and Morikawa. The issue, like, people don't want to play Morikawa off a win. I played a ton of Morikawa before because I felt like I was price induced the week before, and I just was like, okay, so I kind of got off him a little last week. That obviously hurt me, but he looked great. The approach was incredible. I believe it was the best driving tournament, best approach tournament the second best anyone's had on the PGA Tour in the last 5 years. So unbelievable stuff. I think you could see a similar type performance. I also think Morikawa will be forgotten about and one and done a little bit because people don't like to bet on the guy who won last week. This is a good spot for Morikawa. So I'm in. Morikawa, Cantlay, my highest owned, fairly spread out everywhere else. Probably underweight a little bit the Siwoo. Always nerve-wracking with how well he's hitting the ball. This Xander ownership, I just imagine, and it's across the industry, you'll see it around there. I think it's going to be a little bit lower than this. It's just a guess. I just feel like, he looked a little bit better last week. Not a little bit, actually a lot better. But something feels off a little bit. It is also really cheap for him. So I'm sort of stuck on what to do there. Basically going to end up sort of, I guess, near the field on everyone outside of Cantlay, Morikawa, which I'm overweight. Siwoo, I'm underweight. Cam Young, I'm currently underweight, which I'm a little nervous about. And then I'm basically with the field, maybe a little bit behind on Hovland. That's sort of the way the range is shaking out for me. 8K range. My highest owned currently in the 8K range is Mav McNealy. Mav McNealy has been awesome. He sort of just is, he keeps having like 1 to maybe 1.5 bad rounds per tournament, but then he's like unbelievable. So he's been really good. And right now I've got him I think he's my highest owned in this range at 21%. Next highest would be, actually, I'm sorry, Jake Knapp is number 1 for me at 23%. I've got 21% of McNealy. I've got about 17% currently of Fitzpatrick, 10% Ben Griffin. Ludwig Oberg, I think, is going to be lower than this 11%. I've got him at 13% for what I have him. He's one I could consider actually just taking a gamble on. I don't think we've seen the best from him. I expect it to turn around. Maybe he does something a little bit like what Morikawa did last week and bounces completely back and looks awesome. So Oberg is the one I'm considering for my bigger buy-ins as a way to get different, because I don't think he's going to be especially popular. I actually think that the ownership projections on him are a little bit high industry-wide. Justin Rose is the other one that I was going to play more of. He's going to be somewhat popular. I'll probably end up just near the field on him. All right. Just going to take a quick look, see if there's any questions in here. Not used to doing these shows solo. Again, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and join us over at PayDirt. Probably the best value in the industry you're going to see out there. Pretty incredible. And for those asking, where they would go, that we still, the SaberSim product, if you still want it, the SaberSim is awesome. And by the way, you could add on the PayDirt product and use both, which is what I'm planning on doing going forward. Anyway, 75 to 7,900. We'll do that part of the range first. Currently, right now, not my favorite range. I'm not getting as much of this as maybe other people are. I have 11% Minwoo. Not like crazy about it. I actually do like Sepp Straka here, and I like being a little bit overweight the Adam Scott at 3.5%. I know he's been, hasn't looked great. The putting has been awful, but take it to a place he's played well before. Maybe the putter, doesn't lose strokes for him. If he can stop it from losing him 3 or 4 strokes in this tournament, I think that you've got a chance at a pretty good result. Like Shane Lowry as well, but again, just sort of spread out here. Mostly just around 10% of most of these guys. Underweight, I guess not even that much underweight. I've got 5% Keegan Bradley, 7% projected ownership. I got 10% Minwoo. I guess 11% Minwoo it is actually. 8% JJ Spawn, maybe a little, basically with the field in this range, making some bigger stands elsewhere. That's not my favorite range. Again, I do think Straka, if I had to pick one guy from that range to play, it would probably be him. All right, 7K to 7,400. Keep in mind, there's going to be probably a little bit of, I'm living in LA, I'm not far from where the course is. It's been crazy with the gusts, and I think you're going to see some of that. So that's why I liked Lowry, and that's another reason I like Fleetwood. These are two guys who play really, really well in the wind. You might even have preferred lies though too, so it might sort of negate that. I looked at some preferred lies stuff. Anyway, this is where I'm sort of ending up. My projections and everywhere I look, everybody's projection, I keep getting to a ton of Pearson Coody. I like Coody a ton. I wanted to be ahead of him going into this year. Something about it doesn't feel right. He is obviously a debutant. He doesn't played here really before, I don't believe, unless I missed something. 20%. Right now, I'm sticking with it. That's what I'm okay with it. But it sort of was alarming when it was trying to give me like 60% of him. I also think he's going to be a little bit more popular than his projected ownership. Ryan Gerard, the next favorite for me in this area. But again, I don't love the 7Ks so much that I don't feel happy to drop down to 6Ks, which is an argument for playing Scotty. If you want to, and then the argument of being different, why not play two of these top end guys like a Fleetwood and a Hideki, and then use the 6K guys? Because I do like a number of the 6K guys. So my builds are a little bit different this week than actually. I'm kind of like to do that in general, but maybe more than most. But that's where I'm at currently. We're on page 1. All right, I'm going to go through where I'm at with some of these guys because, not a huge field. We've got a lot of guys who are going to get played some in the 6K range just because of the Scotty price and because they're probably a little bit underpriced. We're going to play Theegala here. I've currently got 15%. Don't even mind if you make the argument for higher. He didn't have a great week last week. Looked really good the week before. I think we're going to see a good year out of him. So I love getting ahead of the Theegala stuff, and I will be overweight the Theegala. Underweight Rogers, underweight Berger right now, overweight Bridgman. I don't think this is a fluke, and I want to bet on this guy going forward. I've got him at 12%, nothing crazy, but I do like him a lot. And then Rio. Look, what do we have to do? This guy's top 10 3 in a row. He's still 6,800. I think we just roll with it, keep riding it. But Rio and Theegala at the top of this range are my two favorites. Max Gracerman actually being my next. Oh, not Gracerman. Sorry, the next one is McGreevy for me, but that's the next tier of players. Denny McCarthy is some name you're going to hear quite a bit. He has been terrible, and the putter is he's always good, but he's not quite as good as he has been, which was clearly the best player in the world. So I don't know. I don't feel great about it, but I've heard his name mentioned just a lot, so I thought I would throw it out there. I feel fine with having 5%, which is basically where the field is. Underweight Rico Hoey, currently underweight Matthew McCarty. I'll be overweight Brian Harman. This course actually should suit lefties fairly well. Harman had some up and down stuff last week. Don't love him. Don't feel incredibly strongly about it. I do feel fairly decently strongly about the McGreevy play. I like McGreevy here. I think this is a good, reasonable spot for him. Again, you're not talking about going crazy in ownership because I like those guys in the 6,800, 6,900 range that I mentioned, but I do have 8% McGreevy. Garrick Higo is another one that I don't mind being ahead of, and I like Kevin Yu. She actually grades to be pretty good this week. So those are guys I don't mind getting ahead of the field on. The other one that is going to be pretty pronounced for me, although currently is not quite as high as I want him, I like Echeverria. I think this is a very reasonable time to take a shot. I also think this at the bottom of this range, I think it's worth it to gamble just because of the ownership factor on both Penge. I've heard it pronounced both. I know he's supposed to be the next great thing, but I still can't get the name right. Tom Kim is the other one that I'm getting to a little bit just based on history. Oh, and Sami Valimaki. So those are the ones that I'm overweight. And again, I'm a little bit higher on this range than the 7K range as a strategy, partially due to ownership even. So I'm very, very cool with leaving a little bit on the table and even playing this range. The question is, do I want to do the Scotty thing? And I just am struggling with that. So I think I'm most likely going to be building a couple guys at the top and then playing down in the 6K range a little bit more than I am in the low 7s and upper 7s. That's probably the route that I go. So I'm going to do my we don't have sheets to go back and forth, so we don't get to make our picks. So any of you guys who want to, go ahead and write in your who you like for each range. We remember 10K plus, or no, sorry, First one is who's going to win the tournament, then anybody under 10K to top 5, then anybody under 9K to top 10, then anybody under 8K to top 20, and then under 7K make the cut, but we want the best who makes the cut. So we got James saying he's thinking Rio Bridgman gets steamed. I don't know if Bridgman's going to get steamed. I just don't think that people build like a huge percentage of ownership on the 6K plus. Steamed might mean like 10%, at which point I'm just fine eating that. Like, that's fine with me. Hey AJ, no problem. Happy to be of service. So I'm going to go out on who's winning the tournament. I'm going to say Fleetwood. Again, I like to get a little different. I'm not necessarily always picking hey, this guy is definitely going to win, whatever. Obviously, Scotty's always the best odds, but I like Fleetwood and Rory to both have a good chance to win this week. And I'm going to be playing more than Scotty, especially if this ownership holds. I want to check the ownership a little bit closer before I decide what I want to do on Scotty. If you told me he's going to be 20% owned, I think we probably got to get above that. If you tell me he's in the 30s at this price difference, I start to want to go under. So I'd like to make like half where he's at 30%, maybe 30% of him if he's 20%, if that makes sense to you, just from a game theory standpoint. I think it makes a little bit of sense. At some point, you kind of want to just be overweight if other people aren't doing it, but having a hard time because I'm seeing in between 20 and 35% basically across the board. All right, under 10K to top 5. I am going to take a guy who I can't even believe I'm doing this right now. I'm going to say Patrick Cantlay. I never play I never have Cantlay in this. I do like Morikawa and Hideki quite a bit as well. But I am going to say Cantlay to top 5 this event. We'll see how I do. I actually did okay on this game last week. Under 9K, I'm just going to take a quick look at my ownerships currently elsewhere. Let's go to under 9K, who I want to top 10. I think the chalk answer is Jake Knapp, and I think that I'm probably going to eat the chalk as far as that goes. Chris Gotterup, somebody that I considered for this. Sam Burns, a lower owned play that I think it's worth getting above the field on. But I think I am going to say Jake Knapp and move on from there. And he also, like, the local kid, guarantee he's played here before. I didn't do the digging on all that yet, but I know he hasn't played the PGA Tour on here yet, but he's played here before. All right, under 8K, who are we picking to top 20? As of right now, that's over 8K. I'm trying to see who I've got the most of. I currently have the most of Pearson Coody. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to say Sahith Theegala. And we're sorry. We did the top 20. Yeah, I think I'm going to say Theegala. That's look, and I actually think I bet Theegala. I posted my betting card if you're following either True DFS or PayDirt, so you guys can see my betting card. But I think I like Theegala, and I like dropping out of that 8K range. But I think Coody's the logical answer. And then under 7K, the guy who I'm going to pick to make the cut, but I also I'm going to pick to finish the best. As tempting as I want to say Valimaki, because I actually really like him this week, and I really like Echeverria, I think I'm going to go ahead and say my other guy. Just stick with the Hisat Sneh. He was my guy last week and the week before, and I think we should just keep riding this. It looks real, doesn't look fluky. Hasn't had the best Sundays, but has been great every other day. Maybe this time he finds his way backdooring it. But I really do like him. So anyway, a reminder, you can find all this content over at PayDirt. I will post all of my exposures to every slate I play in every sport as best I can. It's always hard with basketball, of course, because of the shit show that is trying to get your lineups in. But look, we got golf season coming up. We'll post my exact exposures a little later when I have a better feel for everything. For now, I think I'm going to say good luck to everybody. Goodbye. Give us a like on the way out. James says Sepp under 8K to top 20. That's a great call. I didn't even actually think for some reason I had Sepp. Interesting that Sepp's not getting looked at more. That might be one we should take even a little bit of a bigger look at. Good call. I think Sepp is a very reasonable top 20 bet. Do you know what's interesting? The other one I wanted to mention just real quickly, I guess, before we get out of here. I know he hasn't been good. I thought Corey Connors at 7K just feels kind of like you're supposed to take some shots. I'm taking some shots with Max Homa, who's won this event before. Double the field on him. I think we should probably be somewhere in that range on Connors too. I think he tops 20s a lot of the time here. Yeah, I had Fitzpatrick, but so this is your guy. So we got James has got under. Okay, so he's got under 10K to top 5. He likes Hovland. Okay, Hovland was my guy last week, and that was my one big mistake. But I don't mind it. I could see Hovland having a great week. I could see him having a horrible week. He's I still feel like he's figuring things out, and it doesn't quite ever look just like the old guy he was. I like all those calls, James. Give us your under 7K guy to finish the best, and we'll call it. And we can compare James next week and see who did better. I've got Fleetwood, Cantlay, Knapp, Degala, Hisatsune. You've got we need a winner from you also. So throw that out there, James, if you're still around, because I would love to see if you come up with anything. In the meantime, I'm going to say my goodbyes. Good luck to everybody this week. Appreciate you all for tuning in. Next time we will have sheets available. He might even do something later. You never know with that guy. He likes to just sort of wing it. But appreciate everybody. Good luck to you guys, and let's have a great golf weekend and some sweats. We'll pop in occasionally. I'm not going to be doing it this weekend. I've got too many things over the next couple weeks. But when we get into major time, we'll start doing some showdown shows. I'll give you guys all my picks for everything. I'll do all my betting cards and all that. So yeah, check us out, and good luck this week.